starts with breaking news.
We are following some major breaking news at noon. Governor Tom Wolf just announced some changes to COVID rules.
Yeah, that includes lifting the out-of-state travel restrictions. Channel 11's Aaron Martin joins us live at the breaking news desk with what else is changing here. Aaron?
Well, Gordon and Jennifer, this is a move that venues and teams like the Penguins have been pushing for. And in the last 30 minutes, Governor Tom Wolf announced the state will relax restrictions on indoor and outdoor gatherings. Here's what we know so far. Indoor events will now be allowed to operate at 15% occupancy regardless of size. Now, that includes buildings like PPG Paints Arena and Stage AE. Outdoor venues like PNC Park and Heinz Field can now operate at 20% capacity. The governor also eliminated Pennsylvania's travel restrictions, meaning out-of-state travel is no longer requires a 14-day quarantine or evidence of a negative test upon returning. Now, the Penguins are scheduled to begin a 3-game homestand against the Flyers tomorrow. We're working to find out if today's new order will mean fans will be allowed to attend. We'll have much more on this story tonight on Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock. For now, we're live on the breaking news desk. Aaron Martin, Channel 11 News.
All right, some big breaking news. Aaron, thank you so much. We're also monitoring some more breaking news here at noon. Talks are underway to vaccinate teachers sooner than expected. Sources tell Channel 11 they could be moved up in line to the current Phase 1A. Washington County Representative Tim O'Neill is on the state's COVID-19 task force. He alerted GOP House members about the talks yesterday. Now, Democratic sources tell us no final decision has been made and that it will be up to the governor to give the final okay. Now, right now, teachers are in the next phase of the rollout, so Phase 1B. According to the CDC, teachers do not need to be vaccinated for schools to reopen. Now, the Pittsburgh Federation of Teachers has said that the head of that said she's been working overtime to try to find a way to vaccinate the union's nearly 3,000 members. She says without the vaccine, teachers are not comfortable returning in the Pittsburgh Public School District. They are set to return to the classroom next month. You can look for any new developments on both of these big breaking stories tonight at 5 on Channel 11 News.
People without internet access can now sign up for this week's vaccine clinic at Heinz Field by phone. The lines just opened a minute ago at noon. Here is the number you can call to try to get an appointment. That's 877-288-2070. Spots will be filling up fast, though. Giant Eagle and the Steelers are putting on this event. It runs tomorrow through Friday. 4,000 slots available online were taken in a matter of hours Friday morning. Like all clinics, this is for people in the 1A group. In the past hour, the Allegheny County Health Department released its new COVID case report. It's learned of 404 new cases since Saturday. No additional deaths were reported over that 2-day period.
We have a live look for you this afternoon at Channel 11 Tower Camera. You can expect to see some sun, some clouds. You notice that camera moving a little bit too. That means there's some wind out there as well. We're also keeping our eye on the rivers this afternoon because there are flood warnings that are still in effect because of all that rain and the snow melting. So let's head over to meteorologist Danielle Dozier. Good afternoon.
Hey, Jen. Yeah, look at that camera shaking. Those winds are strong. We have had gusts as high as 35 miles per hour out there right now. Temperature-wise, we're in the upper 30s and low 40s. A bit of a shock from the 60-degree temperature we had near midnight last night. Look at the winds right now, sustained up to 20 in Indiana, 18 in Pittsburgh, and 17 in Greensburg. Right now, the wind is gusting to 30 in the city and 29 in Indiana. It will be a windy day. I'll walk you through our hour-by-hour wind forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Our flood advisory still continues now until Thursday morning for the Ohio River at Pittsburgh. I'll let you know those impacts. We're talking flood stage and the future crests for our Ohio River as well as the other rivers and what we're monitoring in the days ahead. Coming up right around 12:17.
All right, thanks, Danielle. A major operation is underway today in the fight against COVID. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine received approval for emergency use over the weekend, and workers are loading trucks to get the new vaccine to distribution points. This is critical. The vaccine is just a single dose, so people can be vaccinated faster. NBC's Stephanie Goss learned it could be ready to give out as soon as tomorrow.
With a third COVID vaccine now approved for emergency use, there is new hope that the effort to vaccinate America will speed up. Johnson & Johnson set to deliver 4 million doses of its vaccine this week. The FDA's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, or ACIP, recommending the vaccine for people 18 and older.
You now have 3 highly efficacious vaccines. If you go to a place and you have J&J and that's the one that's available now, I would take it. I personally would do the same thing. I think people need to get vaccinated as quickly and as expeditiously as possible.
In clinical trials, J&J's vaccine demonstrated a 72% efficacy in the United States and was 100% effective at preventing COVID-related deaths. The vaccine can also be stored at regular refrigeration levels and requires just one dose.
Johnson & Johnson is going to be a game changer. The fact that we can fully vaccinate everyone in just one shot, it's just going to get us to the finish line that much faster.
Still, for now, getting shots into arms hasn't been a smooth process. In Washington, D.C., the mayor and health officials say technical issues with their vendor caused their site to crash as people tried to sign up for appointments. While California, which has faced delays and issues with distribution of its vaccines, is set to roll out a new statewide network today, run by Blue Shield. And as more states lift restrictions, health experts warn that even though daily cases and deaths are declining, they still remain too high.
Now is not the time to relax restrictions.
Johnson & Johnson says 4 million doses will be out by the end of this week, but officials caution that the supply of this single-dose vaccine could be spotty this month, even though the company says there'll be 20 million doses out the door by the end of March. Johnson & Johnson also says it will begin trials on children under the age of 18 and pregnant women. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New York.
So we are going on nearly a year of distance learning for a lot of school districts. It hasn't been easy for anyone. And tonight, parents in the Pine Richland School District are rallying to urge the school board there to open Pine Richland. They want students to return to in-person instruction 5 days a week. Tonight's rally comes on the heels of a survey that Pine Richland seniors were part of. It revealed that a lot of those students think that virtual learning is not working and they feel isolated and underprepared.
Flames so intense, a man was forced to jump out of a window to escape a fire in Westmoreland County, and firefighters had to rush to rescue a woman inside. That house in Monessen was destroyed. Channel 11's Mike Holden got a closer look at the damage and spoke with neighbors there.
It is a difficult sight for folks who live in this Westmoreland County community. Flames absolutely destroyed this house right here in Monessen, and community members say it's a true blessing, and they're so grateful this afternoon that fire crews were able to assist and make sure everyone got out safely. Channel 11 followed fire crews as they surrounded a burning house along State Road in Monessen. Thick smoke filled the air, making it both hard to breathe and see. Crews were called here just before midnight. The Monessen fire chief confirms this fire was so intense, a man had to jump out of a window to get to safety. Fire crews then climbed through a bedroom window and pulled a woman from the burning property. We're told they're both okay. Unfortunately, though, the family dog died in this fire. Neighbors and people passing by say it was a terrifying situation, and they feel for the family.
They're wonderful neighbors. They've had their share of turmoil in their lives. And to see this happen to them is very, very sad.
And this afternoon, the state fire marshal is still investigating and working to determine exactly what sparked this fire. In the meantime, I'm now talking with neighbors about their message to the family and how they're going to help them rebuild. For Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock tonight. Reporting in Monessen, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
Family, friends, even strangers came together to remember Amir Tooley. This is his picture right here. He is the teen who was shot and killed outside of his mom's restaurant in the Strip District. This afternoon, his killer is still out there.
I'm not going to be able to even celebrate his 21st birthday. I'm all churched out.
Amir Tooley graduated from North Hills High School last year. He was on the honor roll there. Hundreds of people gathered at a vigil for him outside of Preeti's Pit. That's his mom's restaurant. Police say that a man shot him in the head last week when he was asked to leave the restaurant. Now, police have charged Howard Hawkins in this death, but he has not been arrested yet.
A Northside man has been charged after police say he attacked someone with an axe. According to the Trib, Jacob Thrower got into a fight with Shair Howard yesterday inside an apartment on Perrysville Avenue. Police say they found overturned furniture, a broken television, and holes in the walls and doors. Howard said he was hit in the arm with the axe, but refused treatment. Thrower is behind bars.
We could finally get somewhere this week on the next round of stimulus checks. You know, we've been hearing about this now for a few months. Our Jacqueline Fell explains the path forward for the president's COVID relief package.
The goal is to get the president's bill back to his desk by mid-March, when jobless benefits and eviction moratoriums are set to expire. The plan includes $1,400 stimulus checks for most Americans, extended jobless benefits, and money for schools and local and state governments. Democrats say the major bill fits the needs right now of Americans and businesses. Republicans say it's too costly and have requested a more bipartisan approach to COVID relief. With the U.S. Senate split 50-50 between Republicans and Democrats, it's expected to be another rocky path to passage.
And the people of this country have suffered far too much for too long. We need to relieve that suffering. The American Rescue Plan does just that. It relieves the suffering, and it's time to act.
I'm about to say something that the American people don't want to hear. The swamp is back.
The House passed this bill without a single Republican voting for it. In fact, 2 Democrats broke with the party and voted against it. Senate Democrats can't afford for that to happen if they're going to get this legislation across the finish line. In Washington, Jacqueline Fell, Channel 11 News.
The Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium are back in business. A look at the changes in place to keep you safe from COVID there.
It's life and death for the person wearing it, but for the person that needs that firefighter.
The life-saving gear local firehouses say they can't afford because of the pandemic.
And our camera's been shaking this afternoon. Coming up, we'll take a look at the hour-by-hour wind forecast and when we'll have this full sunshine last for a while.
I mean, thank you's not even enough. It's life-changing.
A small local business trying to hang on during the pandemic, how the owners took a chance and it paid off in a big way.
We have to stop this. This is 2021. We're all human.
This is a view here of a candlelight vigil to honor lives cut short. The group TransUniting put it on. They are calling for more access to mental health services and health care.
We really have to bring light to the fact that Every last one of these folks within the last 2 weeks were folks of color, trans folks. These streets should be full of people outraged because another black person is gone, another black child is gone.
Last week, 16-year-old Jeffrey J.J. Bright and his sister, 22-year-old Jasmine Kennedy, were allegedly killed by their mother in Ambridge. 24-year-old China Cardina was killed the week before in New Wilmington.
I promised the family that I would do everything I could to make this happen and make the bar work and keep us alive through COVID.
The owners of Howard's Tavern in Westview have refused to give up during this pandemic, but it has been tough for them. So they decided to take their chances, putting their name into a hat for an online fundraiser, and they got picked. Channel 11's Ryan Houston spoke with them about the impact of a helping hand.
Rachel and Derek Boville are part owners of Howard's Tavern in Westview, and it's been in the family for 3 generations.
It's truly a miracle, truly a miracle. I mean, there was days that we just didn't even know if we would make it through. And my sister is a partner with us. And there's days where each one of us wants to give up and wants to just call it quits. And then something like this happens and it restores your faith in everything.
The Bovilles say the COVID-19 pandemic, along with the restrictions, almost put them out of business. That is until the Barstool Fund got involved.
We just got to we got to give it our all and try to get involved and do what we can to try to save the place. And fortunately, they came through for us in a huge way. And every single person that donates came through in a huge way, whether it be $1, whether it be whatever they can afford. Everyone out there is making a significant impact on people's lives.
Derek says the $7,500 Barstool helped raise will help them pay rent and take care of other bills for the bar and their families.
They're close to 300 small businesses that they are helping, and they're continuing to help. And
Wow.
it's a miracle for these small businesses. I mean, we are just, like you said, we're just a little mom and pop bar that people that live down even the road don't even know that we exist. And it's amazing.
And this is the second local restaurant that Barstool is helping. Z-Best Barbecue, Chicken and Ribs in Pittsburgh got their call last month.
There's a shot in the works to stop you from getting Lyme disease. Over the past few years, Pennsylvania really has held the top spot for the number of new cases. So Mass Biologics has been developing this shot. It's not a vaccine. Instead, it delivers anti-Lyme antibodies. They started the first phase of human trials last week, and if all goes as planned, the shots could be available in 2 years. And Lyme disease really has been on the rise for decades. It infects 500,000 Americans every year.
A Pittsburgh group is saving dogs in Texas in the wake of this month's winter storms and power outages. No Dog Left Behind is an organization that provides air and ground transport for at-risk animals. They're rescuing more than a dozen dogs this week, bringing them from Houston to a shelter in Atlanta.
So many people have offered to help in Texas. Now it's our turn to go down and help the animals in Texas.
This is the nonprofit's 5th mission so far this year, and they say they've saved 70 animals.
Back to business at the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium. The gates open this morning. Look, Mom pushing the stroller there for the first time since December. And Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond was there. She shows us what the zoo has been doing to bring visitors back on in.
Even if you got a COVID-19 vaccine, you have to wear a mask, and you have to keep it on whether you're inside or if you're outside.
The zoo is officially back open to the public for the first time since December. A few families showed up right when the zoo opened at 9 a.m. During the last 2.5 months, the zoo did a lot of behind-the-scenes work. They also worked on the new lion habitat and helped the new cubs get comfortable in their new home. While the cubs are not out just yet, you should be able to see them in a couple months.
It's been a rough year. Yeah, the zoo has really felt the impact of the pandemic. Our staff has felt it, and we know our visitors have felt it, and we know our animals have felt it because they haven't had the visitor traffic like they're used to. So it's been a really, really tough year, but we are so excited to see the light at the end of the tunnel and be reopening today.
If you visited the zoo in 2020, you might remember you had to make an appointment. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just buy a ticket when you get to the zoo and walk right in. And there are no longer time limits dictating how long you can stay at the zoo. Also, be prepared to walk because at this time, the tram is not running.
A lot of people have been asking if the zoo is going to have any events or the normal sleepovers like it used to. I'm working on that part of the story for today at 5, and we'll share any details I find out then. Reporting from outside the Pittsburgh Zoo, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Well, first off, I want to say happy meteorological spring. That begins today. And in case you were curious what that means, we use it for climate record keeping purposes the months of March, April, and May because, as you know, the solstices, the equinoxes, they vary year over year. So we like to keep it consistent. Well, our visible satellite out there today shows that we have had some thick cloud cover this morning, but we're seeing some breaks in the clouds, and those clouds are moving quickly. We have got a fast-moving jet stream overhead, and we are expecting those winds to be really strong throughout the rest of the day. Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar, we had that rain early in the morning. That has since cleared off. We have snow showers that are up there in the Michigan and the Great Lakes. Those are going to continue to come across Lake Erie. And believe it or not, we may get a shot of a few flurries come evening. But in the meantime, we're watching those flood impacts. The Ohio River at Pittsburgh has a flood advisory. Current stage is 20.43 feet. Flood stage at 25, and the crest is 22.8 feet. And that will be coming at 7 a.m. on Tuesday. So we're monitoring that. Also, we have flood warnings that continue until Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning, and that's for the areas here in green. We talked a lot about this over the weekend. These flood warnings are along the Mon and along the Yaak rivers, and again, if you live along these, just be advised we could have a little bit of flooding. As far as the Mon River at Elizabeth goes, the current stage 20.02 feet, and yes, it does flood at 20 feet. The crest is 22.8, so we do look to go above flood stage. The crest time is 1 a.m. Tuesday, and then the Mon River at Charleroi, the current stage is 27.2 feet. You can see the flood stage there. Forecast crest is above flood stage at 30.9 feet. That looks to take place at 1 a.m. Tuesday. Here's a look at our storm tracker maps. In the meantime, as I fast forward the clock, there are those light snow showers occurring up along the I-80 corridor at 5 p.m. We do thicken up the cloud cover for sure once we head back into this evening, and I do expect at least a small chance that we'll get in on a few flurries come later on this evening. But once we get closer to about 11 p.m. and midnight, it looks like we clear out the clouds, and as we have a mostly clear sky overnight tonight, that'll set the stage for the temps to cool down pretty quickly overnight. Now, the winds do stay strong today. We're looking at gusts to 35 and 40 miles per hour from time to time, so hang on to the steering wheel. The forecast does call the winds coming down between about 5 and 15 miles per hour in the morning. Those winds are going to shift around to the southwest throughout the day. 5-day forecast, your weekend always in view, down to 18 into Tuesday morning. So bundle up. 40 in the afternoon with lots of sunshine. Pick day of the week is Wednesday at 50, colder Thursday and Friday, but we really have a dry stretch heading into the weekend. It's looking fantastic. Temperatures very close to average this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And I'll walk you through the hour-by-hour temperature forecast and wind chill forecast, not only for the rest of the day today, but also we'll take a peek at Tuesday's forecast coming up in the next half hour.
Tough times for blood banks nationwide. How homeschooling and remote working have drained their supply.
And erasing student loan debt. But who will pay for it? What experts are saying about the president's plan.
Welcome back. Massive fraud in the unemployment system is raising concern. The U.S. Labor Department estimates that more than $63 billion has been fraudulently paid out, and that's about 10% of the money given out through federal unemployment programs for pandemic relief. Now, Pennsylvania is among the states that have been hit the hardest. We've told you about this. Pandemic unemployment assistance has been considered a lifeline for gig workers who are out of work and don't usually qualify for unemployment insurance, but it's also been easy for criminals to use stolen identities to make claims.
Students won't have to worry about taking standardized tests until the fall. Pennsylvania's acting education secretary is giving public schools the option to postpone federally required exams. Some educators complained when the U.S. Education Department refused to allow schools to cancel the tests. State leaders say delaying the exams will let schools comply with federal law, but still make sure students' needs are being met. President Biden is looking to fulfill a campaign promise, forgiving some student loan debt, but that could come at a cost. Nearly 45 million Americans owe $1.7 trillion in federal student loan debt. The president has said he's in favor of erasing up to $10,000 per person. While details are scarce about how he would do that, a few things are known.
It would just basically be an across-the-board forgiveness of some portion of federal student loan debt. This kind of a proposal would shift at least part of that cost back on the taxpayer.
Some analysts predict doing that could end up costing taxpayers billions, possibly trillions of dollars.
Well, the temperature is in the upper 30s, a big cool down from what we had last night. Coming up, I'll walk you through our temperature forecast and what it'll feel like due to the wind.
Local fire departments are struggling. What a drop in fundraising means for their life-saving work. live look for you this afternoon from Channel 11 tower camera. You can see, looks like maybe a little sun, maybe a little clouds off into the distance. We're also watching some of the rivers today because there are flood warnings that are still in effect in part of our area.
Yeah, let's head back over to meteorologist Danielle Dozier with the latest in Severe Weather Center 11.
Hi guys, yeah, that tower cam has been shaking today. Those winds have been as high as about 35 miles per hour gusts in Pittsburgh. You can see here that we do have a little bit of sunshine creeping on out. 18 in Pittsburgh right now, that's the wind speed, and these are sustained winds all across our area between about 10 and 20 miles per hour. The gusts are even higher. So our gusts in Pittsburgh currently 30, Indiana's 30, and Beaver, we've got a 30 mile per hour wind gust. Now I mentioned the temperatures today, they will be holding in the upper 30s, maybe peaking as high as 40. That is a far cry from 60 degrees we had. That was late last night when we were on Channel 11 News. West-northwest winds will be sustained between 15 and 25, gusting to 40 miles per hour. This is the temperature you can expect, but as I mentioned, it will feel colder. So coming up in my Severe Weather Team 11 forecast in about 15 minutes, I'll have your wind chill forecast for the rest of the day today.
Thanks, Danielle. The pandemic has taken a toll on pretty much everything, and many fire departments are now struggling with big drops in fundraising.
Channel 11's Amy Hudak talked with firefighters about what they're doing to make sure that they'll still be there for you in an emergency.
Everybody, as you can see behind us, as promised, we're live.
You see short tip 046. We'll be having in-house sales this evening.
Good evening, boys and girls. You know, we're in the same boat as everybody else, you know, trying to stretch a dollar as far as it can go.
From Allegheny to Washington, Westmoreland to Butler and Beaver counties, local volunteer fire departments are in a really tough and unpredictable spot.
It's just been difficult. You don't know what to expect. Things are changing on a daily basis.
A year of festivals, fundraisers, and fish fries canceled. The bread and butter of funding for local volunteer fire companies dwindling. Ashley Clark is the co-chair of the Hickory Apple Festival.
I've been a part of the festival for 20 years, and you miss the smell of the chicken, you miss the smell of the apple butter, the bread cooking.
For the first time in nearly 4 decades, generations of families didn't come together and raise tens of thousands of dollars for the Mount Pleasant Township Fire Department.
If it wasn't enough to lose the money and not have the money coming in, you kind of lost your spirit a little bit.
Chief Adam Lohr says it was a major blow, a loss of $50,000+, a year's worth of funding.
We've lost a good bit. That's a major fundraising event for us.
An aging truck and battered gear won't be replaced.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wear and tear.
Bill Jeffcoat is the chief for Penn Hills number 7.
We see a fair amount of calls, and our gear shows it. It sees the wear and tear just like some of our vehicles do.
Their largest moneymaker of the year, a gun bash, was postponed last year and eventually moved to Zoom. Jeffcoat says there was barely a profit.
And eventually, as more and more fire companies went to the online fundraising, the market just got flooded.
New equipment and gear on hold indefinitely.
At the time, this might have been roof tar or something that, and it doesn't come off of there.
It's the life-saving gear firefighters rely on.
This is 8 years old already.
The equipment many neighbors don't know the value of until they need help.
These personal protective equipment, it's life and death for the person wearing it, but for the person that needs that firefighter to make it just a little bit further into the building, you know, to find that person that's stuck in a bedroom or that's down from, you know, smoke inhalation.
And as uncertainty with events and fundraisers looms over 2021, budgets must be met. Some trucks are $12,000 a year to maintain, and now departments have an unexpected cost, thousands just to sanitize.
We just want to protect our own so that they can continue to do the fantastic job that they've been doing.
Local volunteer fire departments say they need your help to pay the bills and ensure when you need them, they're there with the life-saving equipment needed.
If there is something that you're willing to give, we greatly appreciate it. It would go to keeping us up and running.
Amy Hudak, Channel 11 News.
And we certainly wish them all the best. Thank you for all that you do for us in the community, firefighters. Speaking of firefighters, they were among some of the first to get vaccinated in our area. Now they're helping a local pharmacy with their vaccination clinics. The Hilltop Pharmacy had one at the Firefighters Hall in Hazelwood yesterday. They gave out 700 doses. 350 got their first doses and 350 people got their second ones.
We were very thankful and fortunate to be included in the first group of people to be vaccinated, and we're very thankful to be able to allow Hilltop to use our space to continue to vaccinate the population.
And this particular clinic is going beyond vaccinating people. It also collected food for 412 Food Rescue. And by the way, Hilltop Pharmacy is planning on doing another clinic this weekend, but it's still waiting on a vaccine shipment, so we'll keep you posted.
A drive-through food distribution in Leechburg was canceled on Saturday because there was no food. The Trib is reporting this is the second weekend in a row that the delivery truck hasn't showed up. Dozens of volunteers were ready to go at the Kiski Valley Community Church, but it turns out the truck was still in Philadelphia. More than 50 cars were in line but turned away. The same thing happened at a food drive in New Kensington. Both are part of the Farmers to Families Food Box program.
The pandemic has set us back in so many ways, including our nation's blood supply. No matter where you live, there's a shortage, and it is dangerously low. Reporter Stephen Fisher has found that this is happening in Pennsylvania, and there is a blood bank that is really struggling to keep up with demand.
The blood is pumping here inside the Miller Keystone Blood Bank in Bethlehem.
I am an O positive, universal.
But the problem is, over the last year, those willing to give it has drastically reduced.
This is not normal at all. This is those are the shelves where we keep all of the O negative. And as you can see, we have a handful of units on our shelves.
Rami Nima with Miller Keystone Blood Bank says these shelves should be filled and used to be prior to COVID. Their supply of O negative is only at 12%, O positive only 25% of what their inventory should be. And 2 weeks ago, the shelves looked even worse.
The need for the blood is very dire at this point. The need for the blood is across the country, not just in our area.
Miller Keystone ships about 500 units of blood to 29 local hospitals per day. They need 450 to 500 donors a day to keep up with demand. But the pandemic has reduced their access to donors.
We would go to large corporations to collect donors. That's no longer happening because of the work from home rules. We would also collect a lot of blood at high schools and, of course, and colleges too.
Medical Director Dr. Kip Kuttner says hospitals need a certain amount of blood to treat cancer patients, for elective surgeries, and to have on hand in case of emergencies.
If we don't have enough blood, then we can't treat people. Some elective surgeries might take a certain amount of blood, and in order to have enough blood for true emergencies, they start postponing those elective surgeries.
Make an appointment at a fixed collection site to help refill the supply.
It's very important to me because we have family members that have cancer, and it's just important. I have the time, might as well use it wisely.
And you know, all the snow we had in February led to a drop in blood and platelet donations for the Red Cross. They had to cancel hundreds of blood drives across 30 states. So if you want to help out, you can do that today. They are hosting a blood drive right now at the Mars VFW. Goes until 6 o'clock this evening, so you still have plenty of time to get out there. They have 4 other drives planned around Butler County over the next few weeks. Maybe that'll work better for your schedule. The Red Cross is also testing donations for COVID-19 antibodies.
Faster than fast food, how artificial intelligence is helping to speed up service.
And a local college Zoom bomb, the events that were targeted and how the school is responding. Welcome back. Slippery Rock had two of its recent online events Zoom bombed. Both of them were Black History Month events. Violent and racial slurs along with a graphic video popped up. So SRU's president sent students an email saying that these situations cut deeply and harm the community. And if the people behind the Zoom bombings are students, they'll be disciplined to the fullest extent.
Getting your medical marijuana card means giving up your guns, but now there's an effort to change that. Marijuana remains a Schedule I drug at the federal level, so medical marijuana users can't get firearms permits. A bill changing that passed the U.S. House last year but stalled in the Senate. But PA lawmakers could take action. One defense attorney says that all they have to do is amend the language in the state's Firearms Act. This debate comes as Governor Wolf calls for the legalization of recreational marijuana. He says taxing the drug would generate millions of dollars for the state and help with pandemic recovery. He also says money would go towards reforming drug laws. Last week, State Senator Dan Laughlin became the first Republican PA lawmaker to back recreational marijuana in the state.
Coming up, we'll talk wind chill forecast for the rest of the day today and Tuesday, and we'll look ahead to a stretch of weather that'll get us outside.
Buy now, pay later. Sounds like a great deal, right? The warning from our consumer advisor about how it could get you in trouble.
Macy's is taking advantage of the buy now, pay later trend. This lets shoppers pay over time. But unlike old-fashioned layaway, they get their items up front. The Wall Street Journal reports Macy's aims to attract younger consumers. The new payment plan risks eating into profits, though, from the store's credit cards. And you could get into some trouble with those buy now, pay later plans. Our consumer advisor Clark Howard shows you how to avoid problems.
When you're checking out, buying something online, or even in a physical store, you may have a prompt online or from the cashier in a store asking, would you like to buy now and pay later? And you're like, what's this, a free lunch? And they tell you, hey, there's no interest required. And so this is a fast-growing thing where you can pay over 4 months or 8 months or whatever. And you only get the deal they're offering If you do everything exactly right, every payment has to be made on time. Otherwise, you can get hit with huge penalties and interest. So this is a little different than the traditional things you see with the furniture stores, where you can go in and no payment, no down payment, no payment for 6 months or whatever. This is one for just routine purchases, but a little larger ones where you're offered the ability to pay over time. Just be careful you don't end up spending more than your wallet can really afford, and put on your calendar, electronic or paper one, when every payment is due. I'm Clark Howard.
All right, some good advice. Hey, if you've been struggling to pay your internet bills, there's a new program that might be able to help you. The FCC just approved an internet subsidy program. If you qualify, you'll be able to get a credit of $50 a month on your internet bills. And it also includes a one-time $100 discount on a computer or a tablet. So if you're on food stamps, Medicaid, or if you lost your job during the pandemic, you'd be eligible for this.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Take a look at the winds right now. They are gusting to 29 miles per hour in Indiana and 30 in Pittsburgh. It's going to be that windy afternoon for us, and I wish I could say the winds are coming down later tonight, but they are not. Look at our wind forecast at 3:30 this afternoon. Sustained winds as high as 20 in Greensburg, Uniontown, and I actually think that we could have some sustained up around 25 miles per hour. Those gusts, again, 35 to 40. The wind will gust to about 30 overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. We're looking at 6 o'clock time frame here, the 6 o'clock hour at least. 10 to 15 mile per hour sustained winds, and I think throughout the day those winds will eventually come down to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. However, for the rest of the afternoon, when you factor in some of those strong gusts that I think will really be getting going later on today, you get the wind chill factor. So this is what it's going to feel like outside, upper 20s to low 30s at 4 o'clock. And check this out. The teens return as far as the air temperature into Tuesday morning. And when you couple that with that breezy condition out there in the morning, it will feel like the single digits. So we're going to have our heavier coats on. Here's a look at our storm tracker maps for the rest of the day today. We've been having a few glimpses of sunshine. I think the clouds thicken up a little bit later this evening in spots where we might not be seeing the clouds thick. We do have a few snow showers that could be occurring up along the I-80 corridor. We have one last little piece of energy that's going to be rotating through the area later on tonight, and that could spark off a few flurries for the Pittsburgh area, but nothing too major out there to worry about. Once we get closer to about 11 p.m. or midnight, our data is suggesting that the sky will begin to clear out, and that will be the start to a beautiful stretch of weather, I think, across our area. That's because of high pressure that's in control as we head into Tuesday and beyond, and that'll lead to plenty of sunshine for the day and Wednesday as well. Currently, we're looking at temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s across our area. We've had that big dip as the cold front came in this morning, down to 18 overnight tonight under that mostly clear sky I talked about, and a northwest breeze that could gust up to 30 miles per hour. Here's a look at other temperatures. 17 in Greensburg tonight, about 16 out in Washington, 19 degrees in Uniontown. Tomorrow, full sunshine. It'll be a nice day to get outside, especially in the afternoon when the temps warm up a little bit into the upper 30s. About 40 degrees, the official high tomorrow, 39 in Beaver, 40 in Washington. 5-day forecast, your weekend always in view, and Wednesday looks good at 50. I think we're going to start the day mostly sunny. Could see some more clouds thicken up from the north as we head into the late day and evening hours. Thursday and Friday are trending a little bit colder, down into the upper 30s with lows down into the lower 20s. And if you don't have any plans this weekend, make them, because we have plenty of sunshine forecasts as of right now. High temperature Saturday is 40 and 43 on Sunday.
To look forward to. All right, thanks, Danielle. And all new primetime tonight on Channel 11 and NBC debuts a new drama called Debris. It's all about, as you guessed, debris that's fallen from the skies all over the country from what seems to be an alien spacecraft that's broken apart. 2 agents, one from the U.S. and one from England, team up to lead the effort to recover the pieces, which have a mysterious impact on those who come in contact with them.
It's still really rooted in just 2 people trying to connect themselves and trying to repair themselves and trying to heal themselves from their own personal traumas that they're dealing with, and having to look past that and work together.
Tonight kicks off with the 2-hour season 20 premiere of The Voice, followed by Debris at 10 and WPXI Tonight.
Hey guys, when was the last time you said, oh my gosh, I got so much sleep last night, I feel amazing? Yeah, I can't remember when I said that either. I have 2 ways to help you get a much better night's sleep. This is a whole collection of sleep solutions by Blankwool, and this is 2 absolutely amazing concepts in pillows. Now, you know that when it comes to the quality of your sleep, your pillow is one of the most important things. It's the reason you see people taking them with them when they travel. So, first of all, we have this pillow. So the one that you see that's blue on the inside has a really fabulous machine washable soft cover on the outside, but I wanted you to see the inside. This is the first ever machine washable and dryable memory foam bed pillow. Isn't that amazing? It's called Fresh. It's made to be super aerated and breathable, give you the support that you want, throw it in the washing machine and the dryer again and again and again. So if one of the things you're saying is, you know what, one of my biggest concern is I would love to be able to use a memory foam pillow, but I really want to be able to put it in the washing machine. Here you go. This one is perfect. I love everything they've done to really make this an updated design, and I know it's something that a lot of people have wanted. They love the memory foam, but they want to be able to throw it in the washer and dryer, something you couldn't do until now. Now, we also have another great concept for those of you saying, I need to quiet my mind. Aromatherapy, right? These are actually scented with essential oils, very softly, chamomile or lavender, in this, again, super breathable memory foam, so that when you put your head down to sleep, you're softly inhaling these things that just help you rest. 2 great solutions. By the way, these pillows are on localsteals.com right now at 50% off. How much is a good night's sleep worth to you? It's worth a lot to me, and now you can save a lot and get a lot of great solutions in one place.
A fast food restaurant in Ohio is using some artificial intelligence at its drive-thru. So instead of talking to someone inside of Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, you'll talk to a computer. The software greets customers and it takes orders. And the restaurant north of Cincinnati says it's quicker and more accurate.
Understand very complex conversation like happens in the drive-thru. So unlike Alexa or Google Home, where you just give them a command and tell them, you know, play this song, here you've got a conversation going.
Now, the software isn't replacing humans. The restaurant owner says it will prevent employees from working longer shifts.
Construction has started on the first BJ's Wholesale Club in our area. Our partners at the Pittsburgh Business Times say the company is closed at a 10-acre site in South Fayette. It will be built in Newberry Market. BJ's is similar to Sam's or Costco. The company is also looking at another spot in the North Hills. Airbnb wants to capitalize on the shift to working from home and help customers work from anywhere. The home rental company is seeing signs people are looking to get out of their home and find a change of scenery. Airbnb says it's also seeing a trend of travel to smaller cities closer to home. The only real essential, of course, is a strong internet connection. That's going to do it for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is tonight at 5.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day.